Going to college. For the lucky few, it is our coming of age. It is when we tear ourselves eagerly or tearfully from our families and take a leap of faith into adulthood, into the arms of Alma Mater, our nourishing mother.
I remember I love my parents very much, but I wanted them to leave as soon as possible.
It finally hit me when I saw them drive down the road a little bit, to see the taillights and see them drive down. I think I got a little bit choked up.
There were 10,000 people in my whole town, and now I'm on a campus of 30,000, and for the first month I didn't know what to do.
I was terrified. I was like, everyone's gonna hate me, I'm not gonna have any friends, it's gonna be awful.
Newly independent, many of us were shaped and honed by Alma Mater in ways we could never expect.
It's still weird to take showers with flip-flops on.
I had my roommate freshman year. He came in and maybe like a weekend, he was like, I don't know how to do laundry. I was like, wait, really?
There's just like a barrier there that kind of goes away when you're in a dorm. What was really great about it was you got to meet people you would never meet in any other capacity.
The day that I knew I was going to be okay was when I met my best friend. That day, like that moment with her in that room was when I knew I was going to be fine.
Moving in day for me was one of the greatest days of my life.
To think about the university is to think about the campus. Green spaces, quadrangles, cloisters, and clock towers separate us from the raucous bustle of life beyond the campus gates. Our universities were truly our cathedrals of learning, and our campuses were the villages that would change us forever. Those charged with caring for our buildings and grounds set the stage for the activities that would ultimately alter the lives of millions.
When I spend a night in Oxford, the keeping of the hours by the clock towers and the great booming of Tom tolling at Christchurch are inextricably interwoven with memories and regrets and lost joys. The sound almost sends me mad. So intense are the feelings it evokes.
The space which brings people together, which either creates or allows this intellectual discourse, I think is very important. Sitting on the lawn on a sunny day in your philosophy class with the ivy and the brick around you, you know, Aristotle could stand right there and everyone would gather, and this is kind of an appropriate surrounding for that.
It had, big, beautiful brick buildings and lawns and faculty members that you would actually get to know. It felt like a whole new world and a whole group of new people. It felt like a fresh start for me.
The open spaces, those are really great. Being able to sit in those in between classes on a really sunny day and study, it takes the edge off, when you have to sit and study organic chemistry and it's 75 degrees and beautiful out. It makes it so much easier.
Going around campus, you definitely make your own paths, especially to your classes. You get like this routine kind of a deal. But it's a lot of fun to figure out little secret spots and find little study areas that no one really knows about. So you'll go there and you'll get to study there with your friends. And it's kind of an adventure. You'll find something new every once in a while.
I was forever in the stacks, poking around all through the stacks, every field you can imagine. So for me, the physical university was as much part of my education as any class that I took.
I love campus. I love studying on campus. And I can't get people to go to Norland with me, but I love the library.
That's the best place. You could hear a mouse fart, I swear. Quietest place on campus.
Campus was our community. It was our village. It was our town. We did everything on campus.
And the campus, our village, was more than a beautiful place of autumn days, football games, manicured grounds, and iconic buildings. It was where and when many of us came of age. It was our launch pad, the mothership, to which we still return. Always changing, yet always home.
My goal in life at that time was to marry a college professor and live on a college campus for the rest of my life. My goal was never to be a college professor. Everything changed in 1968.
The joke when I married my husband, who was in ROTC, is that while Mary was bombing ROTC, my husband was marching in ROTC.
This one guy in the dorm, it was right next to the dorm, would put the speakers, those, you know, in those days, those speakers the size of small cars, in the window, and he would play Military Madness by Graham Nash, or what were the other ones, to try to disrupt the ROTC.
We typically would study for an hour or 45 minutes and then just get stoned the rest of the night.
It's so different being in charge of myself and having to think, oh darn, did I buy gas? Because I need to get to Denver for rehearsal in half an hour. Oh darn, did I buy groceries? Nope, I won't be eating breakfast.
The campus, by design, is a place of controlled collisions. One university president described his role as managing contradictions. For a millennium, the campus's core contradiction has been keeping us safe while exposing us to new and challenging people, places, experiences, and ideas that force us to grow. If our lives are a journey, our college, our university, is our outfitter.
So college was certainly a time of deep exploration, of meaningful friendships, of a lot of introspection.
Every day I get up and there's something new to do and there's new people to meet and there's just always things going on. It's been an adventure and one that I'm really glad I'm not done with yet.
Let's go down to the Laughing Goat because it's a really cool coffee shop. And there's like African tribal music bands playing in the corner. Like, that's weird, but okay. And so we come back up here and we're like, let's go to a modern dance performance. It's free right now. So we like sprint across campus and like go over there and watch that. It was like, this is super bizarre, but it's pretty cool.
When you're sitting with people that are from completely different backgrounds, you just find yourself in this space where you're thinking about things you never thought to think of before.
We went to the planetarium for class, and the first like good hour of class we just like sat there and like traveled around the cosmos, and it was so cool. Like, I loved every minute of it.
And in film, there was one professor who really had an influence on me, and his name was Jerry Aronson. There's a lot of kids now who have actually gone on to have quite successful careers in Hollywood and other places where he was their professor, and we all call ourselves Jerry's kids.
You put on this little like note, like, hello, my name is, but you put what you used to be in high school, right? Like,
your old identity.
Yeah, your old identity. And then on the opposite side of the board, you're supposed to put a note on what you want to become when you're in college. So, like, you know, good time manager, listener. All right, so what am I putting? In high school, I was a band geek. And I want to become...
For many of us, the words of one Harvard University president ring true. We enter the university to grow in wisdom. We leave to serve our nation and our kind. Most of us are influenced deeply by the people and ideas we encounter. Few of us leave the university unchanged. For so many of us, these changes last a lifetime. And to meet each new generation, the campus too is constantly changing. Ongoing investment in change prevents the university from becoming a museum of ideas.
It was absolutely transformative. I think that probably next to getting married, those 4 years of college were the most significant periods of my life. I read philosophy for the very first time. I read Nietzsche. I mean, Nietzsche, you don't read Nietzsche in high school, and you read Nietzsche, you're kind of never the same.
Everyone came into this with a totally different perspective than someone else. And I think freshman year and basically all of college is a really good time for them to realize I'm different than the person next to me, and through them figuring out what their own identity is too, which I think is one of the coolest things that college can do for you.
I think I've become a much more responsible and aware person since I've been at college, and I think that I've become more open and understanding because I have been subjected to so many different cultures that I'm studying, and through it I've grown.
It just came so easily. It was like, oh, now I know why I'm here. In my doctoral work, I never had a course I didn't like.
It changed my life. The classes I took for my master's degree, from my MFA, changed my art entirely. So all of a sudden, I'm sitting in the front of the class. I'm not in the back playing, you know, I don't really want to be here. Why am I here? I was there because I wanted to be there.
I feel like my degree really prepared me for what I'm doing, and I have a job, a wonderful job, right out of college.
Isn't it interesting that the writers of Star Trek imagined a future that contained both the holodeck and Starfleet Academy? This future blended mind-blowing immersive simulations with the rich social experience of a campus. As technologies get better, and as we get better with them, we wonder whether the campus will be displaced or if we will learn to use technologies to extend our boundaries, expand the adventure for existing students, and open our gates to new ones.
We used to know how to know. We got our answers from books or experts. We nailed down the facts and moved on. We, after all, had canons. But in the internet age, knowledge has moved on to networks. There's more knowledge than ever, but it's different. Topics have no boundaries, and nobody, guess what, agrees on anything. We've got to ask ourselves, what will the institutions of schooling, universities, research universities actually look like 5 or 10 years from now? And if they look the same as they do now, we got problems.
Place to me was not so much that physical set of buildings as it was the place where the learning took place, and particularly the place that housed the faculty. And to this day, I still think of a university particularly as this place of the faculty.
At DU, we fundamentally reimagined our library. We turned a building optimized for paper into a building designed around people. We repurposed collection space to promote quiet study, group interactions, events, exhibits, and academic support services, transforming the library building into this community's intellectual centerpiece, an academic commons.
Our goal here, and I think one needs to be pragmatic about this, is not to equalize necessarily the opportunity of students who currently don't have any access and make it equal to what a fortunate Princeton student might have. Because that might be a really worthy goal, but it's not something we necessarily can achieve in a short time frame. What we'd like to do is we'd like to bring both of these up to considerably better than where they are now, even if they don't end up being equal. If we've improved a lot of both the on-campus students and the ones who currently don't have access, I think we've done an amazing thing. People often ask us whether universities are a thing of the past, whether universities are going to die out, and I definitely do not think so. There is something tremendous about getting people together in a place where serendipitous interactions can happen, where you can have face-to-face mentoring between an instructor and students, where students can talk to each other and create together and learn to debate ideas. And so this on-campus physical experience at the moment has no virtual substitute that is equally effective.
Sometimes I have to put my technology away when I just need to sit down and read a book.
You can play on your Rosetta Stone all you want, but if someone starts speaking to you in Spanish, you're going to be ready to talk with a person, physically talk with a person when they're calling you up. And I think that's the piece that's really important about having an actual educator and having someone guide you to a place where you can actually learn.
The scarf around your neck in the fall, and the Pendleton blanket at the football game when the leaves are coming down. For those who have that experience, it's formative, and it influences a great deal of what you do. If we move into this new technological space, will we lose that? My answer would be absolutely.
I'm getting ready to go to my 50th Tufts reunion, and I'm going to be staying in the dorm with some of my friends who lived in the dorm with me in 1964.
I took a film class and I fell in love, and I have never felt that passionate about something ever.
I can do anything.
It'd be cool if I can go into space.
There's nothing that can replace being on a campus, going to the classroom, sitting in that environment, sharing ideas with one another across the table. There's no replacing students being on campus.